everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Chats. I'm Emily Nagel, and we are so glad you're here. I am joined with my very special guest, Rebecca Stanberry. I only had to drag her here kicking and screaming, but
That's
Rebecca's here. We are so glad you're here, and we're going to be getting to know Rebecca even more for those of you who don't know her. But Rebecca, introduce yourself. Let us know a little bit about you. What do you do here at the church? Who's your family? Just some simple things before we dive in.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm Rebecca Stanberry. I'm one of the staff pastors at New Covenant, and I'm over pastoral care, which is really been a big issue with all of that's gone on with COVID. But so my husband Blake Stanberry, he's the executive pastor here. We came on at the same time to do a job together, but now we've kind of broken into separate groups. But I have 3 children. Hayes is my oldest. She's 23. Hattie is 21. And my son Hayden is 16.
And we love the Stanberry family. Oh my gosh, you guys are such a blessing. You and Blake obviously give so much to the church, but all 3 of your kids serve in some capacity or so involved. So we just love and thank you guys. So moving into what this season has been like, you kind of mentioned the pastoral care, looking and feeling and being approached a whole new way, but different from every other guest. This season has been something you have loved. Everyone else is like, okay, what is this? Or they're struggled, whether that's because of their personality type or they feel like they're cooped up at the house or whatever that may be. But share with us how dynamically different you have been enjoying this season compared to some of our other guests.
Yeah, so this season has definitely been, I kind of laugh and say I'm just living my best life, which I truly am, because I'm an introvert and I love being at home. That is my calling. I'm a homemaker. And so this season has been really wonderful to me to be at my home and to have our garden and to have our flowers and to have the yard to enjoy the animals, that type of thing. And so I've really thrived during this season, but the Lord told me back in early January, and I think I shared this with the staff, that I felt like my ministry was going to be more from home this year. And I told the staff, I don't know what that looks like at this point, but I've really enjoyed, especially the last 2 weeks, I've started having women into my home. We have about 8 women at a time, different ladies from New Covenant, and I'm hoping to get to everyone. But just wanting to lavish love on them and help them stay connected to the church. But I have really enjoyed my time since March being at home.
Yes, and you truly are a homemaker, and your home is like an oasis. For some of you who may not know this, one of the songs on my album was written on Rebecca's front porch, the fastest song I've ever written. I think we wrote it in less than 5 minutes. So there's just an anointing there of peace and creativity, and I know I appreciate that and just aspire to have a home like what you provide for your family and for other people. So thank you personally for providing that for me in that season.
You're welcome. That's something that Blake and I really work at. We take our home very seriously. I mean, it's a sanctuary for us, but you know, you are what you fill your home with. And so we prayer walk our land, and we pray over our homes. We anoint our doors with oil, and we take very seriously what we bring into the home, because that's a reflection of who we are.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, just like my dad, you're a Haywood County through and through. Share a little bit about your upbringing, and of course, that reflects now on your home and how you farm and have different animals and stuff like that. So let us know a little bit about that.
So, yeah, I was raised in Fines Creek, and I always said, you know, when I'm going to college that I'll never be back. But it didn't take long. Less than a year after we were married, we lived downstate for a while, and then Blake was gracious enough to let us move back here. And we've been in Haywood County ever since. We've spent a short time in Buncombe County when we both worked there, but it's growing things and creating things is just something that's in my blood that we've done for a long time. Long line of farmers and creators. And so it's just something I couldn't get away from. And I just really missed that when we didn't live here. So that is something that we enjoy. We've taught our children how to do. It's wonderful to know that your children can work hard if they need to. But it's also wonderful knowing that the Lord has rest for them and they don't, they aren't what they produce.
Right.
So we've enjoyed our time. We love the animals. I love growing a lot of our own vegetables and fruits and having a garden and just providing for our family in that way. So we enjoy that very much.
That's awesome. So now we heard Blake's side of the story of how you guys met, and I just want your spin on it, the other perspective.
Well, he told pretty much the truth.
Okay.
We had not known each other, and I had been dating someone for a long time, and so had he. And we had both just broken up, and I was coming to see a friend and met Blake in his apartment, and he truly was ironing his shirt. And I remember thinking, now there's a guy that can take care of himself. I like that. So Blake is very independent. He does a lot of his own things. But we did meet in college, and we were friends for a very long time, for probably 6 or 8 months before we ever even went on a first date. But we did write to each other all summer long. That was before cell phones. And he didn't even ask for my home phone number at that point. So we just had each other's addresses, and we wrote to each other every couple of weeks throughout the entire summer.
That is so sweet. I love that. And of course, we just mentioned your incredible children who I love so much. And anyone who knows them, they're just a blessing. And you've done such an incredible job. You and Blake are amazing parents. So with that, as a mom, what are some of your core values that you feel like are essential for raising your children and parenting them well?
Goodness, there's a lot to parenting. One of the things that I would say is every parent has to parent their children differently, and they have to parent each child differently. I'm certainly no expert. I can say kind of how things worked for us in our home. I'm a tough parent. I am a tough parent. And my kids would tell you that. I set expectations, set goals, set boundaries that they had to live by. And within that, I think that they learned responsibility. They did learn how to work, and they did learn how to take care of the things that they had. So some of the things that I did is I didn't try to be their friend. That's not my job. My job is to be their parent. And I think if you do that well, the friendship will come later. Like I have a beautiful relationship with my 2 daughters who are older, but I think parents struggle so much in trying to make their child happy that they don't think about what's going to be best for them in 20 years when they're a functioning adult.
Right.
We believe that honesty is the best policy. So we talk about everything. There's nothing that's off the table that you can't talk about. My son Hayden had come home the other night, and he missed curfew, and he was late. And I heard him come in, went into the living room, and Hayden said, "Mom, you're not going to believe why I'm late." And I thought, he's the funny one. I thought, here comes some big story. And he said, "Mom, I'm serious." He goes, that miniature donkey down the road? Well, he was out in the road, and I had to get him and take him back to his house and help him with his little horse friend there, and so get him back in the fence. And so you have to have, even though he was late, we didn't punish him. You have to have those relationships more than you have the rules sometimes. Right. And so our kids know that. And I think the last thing is just love them where they are. Your children are not mini products of yourself, and you can't make them be, nor do we always want them to be. So I think you have to love each child individually. And, your kids are going to go through things. All 3 of my kids have gone through some heavy struggles. And I think just not leaving their side and fighting for them and warring in the heavenlies for them spiritually, you just have to love them where they are. And I think eventually with prayer and you loving them, whatever that position is that they're in a hardship, they're going to come out of it. But if you don't stand with them, they have a hard time doing things life by themselves. We're not made to do life by ourselves.
That's right. So good. So good. Thank you for that wisdom. Another cool thing about you, Rebecca, is you have worked in different places and you've had different experiences. Will you share that with us, and then let us know how those different careers or jobs or environments have shaped you for the season you're in now in pastoral ministry?
Well, that's a great question. So I have had a lot of different jobs in my life. I've probably had 20 or 25 different types of jobs,
That's
but
awesome.
they really have all helped me in what I'm doing here at New Covenant Church. I've done everything from, the food industry. I did
Mhm.
catering for a while. I was in marketing and advertising management, public relations. I've done that. And I was even, my last big job before I came here to New Covenant, I was a landscape designer. So all of those things I think have come into play with what I do here with special events, with having Missions Point, which is our retail bookstore and gift shop here within the church. We do the food on Wednesday nights. We do the big events. So every single job that I've ever had, I've used my knowledge that I learned in those to do my full job description here at the church. So God was just preparing the way
Mhm.
for me to use all of that knowledge here at New
Yeah,
Covenant.
that's so beautiful. I love that. For those of you who know Rebecca, we've already mentioned food and hospitality. This woman loved and fed. So share with us what that's looked like. You've shared a little bit about, stepping into hospitality and like how you've always loved
hmm
being a homemaker, but what has that looked like over the years?
Well, it's definitely evolved, and you don't start out being really good at it. I mean, it's definitely something that you have to practice, like anything that you do, whether it's a sport or a job, anything you practice at, you're going to get better at. I mean, I've had some major flops in my life to do with, cooking or hospitality, but I think that you just gather the knowledge, the talents that God has given you, the gifts that He's given you, and you put it all together. And it's kind of like a big recipe anyway, all the things that He's given you, and you put it together. I came from a big family that's all hospitable. We really were gifted in that area by the Lord. And it's something that we crave, and I hope that I've passed on to my children. So,
Yeah. So, you mentioned that this is something you have to work at. Um, for someone, even like myself, like I love gathering,
mhm.
but I'm not the best cook and I don't feel like that I have the confidence to do that well. What would you say for people who, want people in their home, but they feel maybe they're not gifted? Or
Mhm.
like, what would you say? Like, what's some basic things for people to open up their homes and open up themselves to even more grander community or deeper community? What would you say to that?
Well, I love what it says in Romans 12. I think it's verse 13. It said, share with others of God's people in need, to pursue hospitality.
Mm.
And pursue it's an active verb. I mean, you're going to continue to keep doing that. And I would say not everyone may be gifted in this area, but it doesn't mean you can't be great at it, because if you do have to practice at it.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's been some times that I've had lots of people expected to be there and I flopped. I totally forgot one product or something. But it can be very, very simple. And I think people get overwhelmed thinking about trying to provide something like that. And there's a difference in, a lot of people think about entertaining, and
Mm-hmm.
then you think about biblical hospitality, and there's a big difference. Entertaining is that I want people to come to my home, look at my home, look at me, look at what I've produced. And that's not what we're going for. What we're
Mm-hmm.
going for is biblical hospitality, where we're providing for others in need, whether that's a physical place to stay for a while, whether it's spiritual food or physical food, but we're trying to lavish God's love on that
Mm-hmm.
person. We're listening to them and we're praying over them, or if we have prophetic words for them at our dinner table. Their inner healing has happened at our dinner
Yeah.
table late at night, just people feel very comfortable sharing, but it just starts simple. You don't have to be a good cook. You can just do something simple. We had some wonderful friends who lived not far from us. And sometimes late at night, like at 9:30, I would call them and say, hey, we're having tea at 10 if you want to come. They would come, their family would come in their pajamas. We would be in our pajamas. And we just had hot tea together in fellowship.
I
So
love that.
you don't have to do anything extravagant. Get a cake from Publix and just have coffee. So just start small. And if you enjoy it and you want to love on people, you're just going to grow and grow and grow in that gift.
I love that. Yeah, because I think, just what you mentioned, entertaining versus biblical hospitality, I feel like we've got that muddied
Yes.
in culture in general, but that was awesome. That helped me because I feel like there is this concept in my mind that, I have to have like HGTV and the Food Network. I have to like make that happen in my home before I can have people over. But the best times have been just simple, even like cheese and crackers,
Yeah.
something.
It's really thinking about what would Christ do to help the people in need. So, and it's not always about food.
Right.
It's about prayer. It's about prophetic words. It's about speaking words of life over people.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love to do, I do love to set a table for people because I want to honor them and show them love and respect. And as I'm setting the table, I'm praying over every spot that's going to be filled that night with a person. What are they hurting about? What are they, longing to talk about? And so I ask the Holy Spirit to go before us and soften their hearts that when they get to our home, that we can talk about the things that they want to talk about. One of the dreams that Blake and I have is to build a ministry room on our house that we can seat 16 to 20 people at a time. And we're just, we're doing what the early church did in the homes, and we're just loving on people, sharing God's love, sharing God's word. And that's a dream of ours that we're saving toward. We're hoping to do that one day.
I love that. I love it. I love it. So what are some, doesn't have to be one, spiritual practices that you do to stay close to the Lord? I know you're a big prayer warrior. So what does that even look like, or any other things that you do, like spiritual disciplines and practices for you to stay close to the Lord, for you to hear his voice, for you to be at peace? What are those things that you do?
So I don't know that I've ever met anyone else like me in this area. And I used to feel insecure that I was not like, Blake gets up every morning at 5:30. He's reading the word for an hour, and he's very disciplined in that morning time. Mine has been much more creative, and I wouldn't say haphazard. It's very intentional, but it doesn't happen on set times. It's more, it's just very different. I'm not the morning settier. I'm a nighttime person. When I've emptied myself of myself, I love to go in the bedroom at night, shut the door, do my prayer time, do my worship time, read my devotion, read the word. But I really enjoy long periods of time by myself to spend time with the Lord. It takes a long time for me to declutter my mind because I have so much going on up there, so many ideas. And so it takes a longer period of time for me to declutter that and get rid of noise. And if I have children and husbands and, workers around or whatever, coworkers around, it takes me a long time. So I intentionally get away or be in my home by myself for 2 to 3 days at a time. I love being in nature with the Lord because I'm just reminded of his harmony. And I really love my private worship time with him. If I want to dance, if I want to, wave a banner or whatever. But mine are in different types of pockets, and mainly later at night. So it's very different than most people.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Rebecca. Now we're going to shift gears to some more fun things, like lighthearted things. And this is just, whatever comes to the top of your head, or just fun, quirky things.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes,
All
I
right.
think so.
Easy. Do you prefer texting or talking on the phone?
It depends on who it is. We just got really good internet service a couple of weeks ago. So I've actually been able to FaceTime people for the first time in my life. So I've enjoyed being able to see like my daughter Hayes and FaceTime her. But a lot of times I'm a texter over a phone person. I don't know, there's a lot of, I think there's safety in texting sometimes, that it doesn't take as much energy from me because I am an introvert.
Right.
Than if I hear the person's voice, it's harder for me not to get super involved in the phone call. So a lot of times I'll text.
Awesome. Where is your most favorite place that you've traveled?
Wow. I really, really enjoyed Alaska, where we went last year. I could spend several months there, probably summer months.
Yes.
But I would love to go on a more extended stay to Scotland and Ireland. I have a lot of heritage there and would love to spend several weeks over there.
Love it. Your favorite meal to cook?
Oh, goodness. Well, this is funny. I love to cook all kinds of different foods because I really love to go to restaurants and see what they're fixing and try to mimic that. But you're never going to guess, when Blake and Hayden have gone to hunt for a week or so, one of my favorite meals to fix is manwich.
What? Oh my goodness.
I know that is you wouldn't think that would be a favorite meal, but that's something I'm the only one in the house that enjoys that. So when everybody's gone, that's what I fix.
Hey.
But I love to fix whatever meal is the favorite of the person who's coming. So if you've been to my house, you know that I usually say, hey, what are you craving?
Yes.
What's
Buffalo
your
chicken
favorite?
pizza.
Buffalo chicken pizza is one of Emily's favorites. That's usually what I fix for her. But that's what I like to fix, is whatever your favorite is.
I love that. That's awesome. What was one of your nicknames growing up?
So let's see. I think it was in high school. Because I was raised on a farm, I did wear cowboy boots a lot. And I went to Nashville one summer and found a pink pair of ostrich skin cowboy boots.
Wow. Okay.
And I wore those a lot. So people called me Bootsy.
Oh, that's cute. I love that. I love it. I love it. What is one of your favorite memories of serving at NCC?
Oh, goodness. I would think probably some of my favorite memories have been behind the scenes with some of the single mothers.
Yeah. I knew I was going to get her to cry.
Don't take much.
She already, did you
I
keep
got
your
my
stuff?
tissues.
There you go. She stuffed them tissues in there.
It's just wonderful to see mothers come from such turmoil, such trauma, and see them just stepping out of the generational curses and just bettering their families.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so beautiful. And I thank you for having a heart for that. Just because we've had conversations with other single moms, and they're like, this is the first place I've ever gone who recognizes me, who sees me, and who asks me, how am I doing? So thank you for helping lead that charge as well. So you've also been on mission trips with New Covenant. You went to Greece. What was one of your favorite memories with that?
I just loved seeing, I'll say this is a controversial subject, but millennials get such a bad rap. They really do.
I know.
And it's from
As one I know.
from generations like my generation and up. And if some people took the time to have a relationship with millennials and they see their heart and their compassion and their causes, I think they would be surprised, because they let the media dictate that they see millennials won't work or they won't do this. But I'm going to tell you something. Millennials are going to change the world. They really are. And I took a group of millennials to Greece to lead worship, and watching their hearts in those refugee camps of worship and praying over these children and these refugees was just beautiful. So I have a lot of great memories about Greece, but it was just beautiful to take that group of young adults and watch them just thrive in their era.
I love that. Who is your favorite singer or band?
Wow. My all-time favorite singer is Alison Krauss.
Oh, good choice. Good choice. So I know you mentioned manwich, but other than manwich, what's your favorite food?
Goodness, my favorite food anywhere I go is pizza. I'm with your dad. He and I have this in
Pizza,
common. We've had this
pizza.
conversation. I could eat pizza every single day of my life. In fact, I've already had it today. I had it for lunch.
Heck yeah.
And I had it
love
yesterday for
it.
lunch.
That's awesome. Who taught you how to cook?
My mother taught me a lot. I remember as a little girl sitting on the counter in the kitchen, and she would let me stir and taste.
Mhm.
But she was a very good cook. My grandmother Crawford was a very good cook as well, and she would cook every Sunday. We would go to my grandmother Duckett's for lunch, and my grandmother Duckett would fix lunch. And we'd go to my grandmother Crawford's for supper on Sundays,
Oh my
every single
gosh.
Sunday. And my
I love
grandmother
that.
Crawford, she would cook for 25 to 30 people every
Wow.
single week. So every single lady in my family can cook very well, but it's been a gift that's been handed down to them.
That is awesome. Wow, 2 grandmother meals a day?
Yes, every single Sunday.
Sundays. Oh my goodness. All right. So, if you could meet any celebrity or famous person, who would it
Oh.
be?
Goodness, that's a good one. There are a lot of great cooks. Like I love Anna
Mhm.
Garten. I would love to meet her. I just love the way she does things, and just so simple in the products and stuff that she uses. But it would probably be like a famous gardener. I mean, I love landscape architecture, and to be able to be inside, I don't have like a particular one's name, but to be able to be inside their head of knowing what they're going to create and what it's going to look like in 50 or
Mhm.
100 years is just amazing to me. So I don't have any one particular
Yeah,
landscape architect, but that's probably who it would be.
I love that. What cheers you up?
I love great music. I
Mhm.
really love music of all different kinds of genres. I love being with people who, because I'm an empath, I love being with people who are also cheery, that are
Mhm.
full of joy, because it's very easy for me to get bogged down in the emotions of others if I don't set really good boundaries.
Right.
But I love being outside. I love camping. I love hiking. I love cooking. I love knowing that friends are coming over and I'm preparing something for them. So 99% of the time, you're going to find me in a good mood.
Love it. Love it. So talking about music, this is another reoccurring. Would you sing?
It would probably be like Two Highways, which is an Alison Krauss song.
There you go. Nice,
Yep,
nice.
I love her music.
What is your most dreaded house chore?
I hate to unload the dishwasher. I hate it. I'm not so bad on the bottom, but I really hate doing the top. So that's one thing I always ask Hattie to do, or Blake usually does. He's very good. I'm a very messy cook, and so if I cook a big meal, he does clean the kitchen every single time. So he usually is the one that unloads the dishwasher. He does that for me because he hates to do laundry, and I always do
There
his
you
part on
go.
the laundry.
There you go. I love it. What is your order at Chick-fil-A and what sauces do you use?
I always get a number one, which is
Uh-huh.
the sandwich. But lately, I've not been doing the fries. I've been doing the mac and cheese
Oh,
with obviously a Coca-Cola.
what is your favorite holiday?
Goodness, my favorite holiday, if you know me, you know it's Christmas.
Yes.
And I just love to lavish the people that I love and have them in my home. I do a different theme every year for
I was
Christmas.
going to make sure to ask about that. You have to talk about your Christmas reveals and themes.
Yes. So usually we have Thanksgiving is on Thursday, and then Friday I'm frantically preparing. Saturday, after Thanksgiving is always the big reveal at my house, where I let everyone know the theme of what we're doing. I have all the decorations out, and everybody helps us, decorate the mantle, the porch, the tree, and everything. So I do a different theme every year, and this started years ago when Blake and I were really, really poor. We didn't have any money, and we only had a few Christmas decorations. So it was very easy for me to think creatively of ideas to do the next year to keep the kids involved and interested.
Yeah.
And I would spend like the whole year looking at Goodwill for things that I could pull in and put together and make a different theme. And the kids just loved it. And so we've been doing this for probably, I don't know, 15 years now. And I have like the next 10 years of ideas on my
Oh my
Pinterest board.
goodness.
So,
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Rebecca, thank you so much for sitting
Aw.
down with me. I know you don't like to be on stage or have a microphone on,
I
but
do not.
thank you so much for your insight and just talking with us and letting us get to know you better. You've been a joy to have on
Aw,
Coffee Chats.
it's an
this
honor to
morning.
be here. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, friends, we love you. We are so glad that you tuned in and joined us for another Coffee Chats. Remember, you can click the link that is on our Facebook page to submit a question. Who knows who's going to be on next, but keep those questions rolling in. We hope you have a fabulous Sunday, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.